Good morning. It is the 4th of January already. Woo. I want to talk to you about a couple things that have come up since we last met. One was I got so many wonderful responses to your words that you were going to pick for your life for this next year. My word is flow, because I kept thinking grow, cultivate, yeah. And then what my angels finally kicked me in the back of the head and said, no, it's flow. You're going to go with the flow. Just like you knocked down the wall and created the garden, you're going to continue to go with that flow and continue to try to show people all the different ways they can cultivate their sense of self-worth, their sense of intuition, just little triggers to give you enough to maybe get you interested in understanding how all of these pieces actually do fit together. So my word is flow. And the other thing that I had decided to do this year was follow, if you've never seen Lee Harris Energy, go there. He does little snippets every month of where he tracks all kinds of energy. But he had a suggestion last year, and I thought about it, and it said to wake up every day and just spend a minute asking your soul, what should I do today? You know, what message does your soul have for you? And if you get really quiet, it's just like the first word that pops in your head, like flow fell into my head. So Sunday morning I woke up and I wasn't feeling terribly well. And I'd been having a really bad cough, which I'd written off to allergies, and which is not a great time of year. I don't know what blows into Texas this time of year, but it does not like my lungs. And I got up and I felt a little worse than just allergies. So I sat down with the angels and I said, what's going on? And it said, take note of your body, get in your body. I mean, I kind of tend to drift in my mind more than my body. And I did a scan of my body and I realized I was really sick. And so I got out my thermometer and checked, and I had a slight fever. And then I realized I also had a sore throat, which I was totally ignoring. Long story short, I called a friend of mine who is very, very involved in COVID testing. And I said, this is what's going on. He said, get up, walk around for an hour and see if it's just you kick your allergies, because he's known me long enough I can do that. I walked around for an hour, came back in, took my temperature, and my temperature is now 100, and I don't run fevers. So he said, okay, here's the address of the lab. Get your butt over there by noon. And yesterday was supposed to be a heavy-duty work day. I was going to pack up all the 13 grids I've built in the last few weeks and mail them all off at once. That didn't happen. I went and got a COVID test, and thank God it's just crappy allergies. I've never been so happy to have crappy allergies. But I want to thank Lee Harris and his Listen to Your Soul and Get Back in Your Body. He's a man with a great deal of wisdom, and he's a channeler. And if you can go listen to his channel of this month and next month, it'll be very valuable to help you get through some of the tougher times. So anyway, my words flow. Now, what are your words? And I hope your words don't lead you to having a COVID test, that thing up your nose on a Sunday morning. But the words I got from people that they just dashed down quickly and were nice enough to send me is better, happy, transformation, healing, brotherhood, clarity, transition, abundance, change, enlightenment, and balance. And I think those are all wonderful words. And they're great words to work with. And they're great words that you can feel in your life. And it depends, where your life is, where you're going to, what you want to do. But if you can focus on that word every day for this year, it'll give this year a path. It's another way to do a kind of a law of attraction thing. If I think I'm putting myself in flow, and I mention that and remember it every single day, then flow will come to me and I will know how to move forward. This meeting is going to be a little bit short. I'm feeling much better, but I'm not feeling like I want to do the world's longest reading. So I've had people suggest some things they like when I talk about numbers, and I have a way of, when I used to teach tarot, that I took numbers and I took them from numerology into tarot, and I also now work with them in sacred geometry. Every one of my grids, certain numbers mean certain patterns are happening in that grid. So I'd like to get some reaction from you about that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a number a day or just sort of scatter them out there. I can do my world's fastest understanding of numbers, but by the time you get to 7, everybody gets lost. So that's it. The other thing is I did go on Saturday. I went to the rock shop and I found a crystal I truly like. It's the color of my hair. It's called lepidolite, and I will write down how to spell that in the comments below. And I found it. I was so grateful I found it because I was putting together a couple of custom compasses for people, and lepidolite is internationally known. It's just gorgeous. You can't really see it because it doesn't show up well with my little bitty camera here, but it's to calm the mind, relieve stress. It increases the flow of energy to your heart with regards to security, which I think is just a beautiful message. And the people I'm putting these crystals together for, people have been having some trouble with sleep. I talked about shungite, which is also good for stressing out and, sieving out, draining out, pushing out negativity. Tourmaline is good for pushing out negativity. You put that together with one of these stones and then some rose quartz, and you're down for the night. For those who just heard that, I did something I meant to do. I have a speaker in my office, and it's a YouTube type sort of thing. I mean, it's a USB speaker, and when it powers off, it says power off. So I do not have a spirit in my house calling for Paolo. Some other people said, what's that voice? What's it mean? It's my little bitty portable speaker that I carry with me, so I don't have to listen to everything on my phone. Anyway, back to lepidolite. The way you would work with this is looking for security, serenity, and wanting to relieve stress. You could carry a lepidolite on its own. You could carry it in a balance with some other stones. The other stone I found looks like bags of candy, but they're not. They're crystals. It's hard to find good stones that are good to carry. One of the clients is getting this stone also, and I'll cut out of his bag. This is what you call lots of accurate, really accurate pre-planning here. Okay, this is selenite. And selenite is actually highly compressed, treat, heated salt. This is a stone you never, ever, ever put in water. If you put selenite in water, you're going to get all kinds of little cuts in because it's just salt. It's very hard salt. It doesn't taste like salt, but it's molecular structure salt. You put salt in water, you know what happens. Okay. So if you put the lepidolite with that, and then, oh, I actually have one. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put your things down. Okay. You put the selenite, the rose quartz, and lepidolite together, and you have a really, if you put your hands over them, it's very, very calming. So those would be calming stones for people to go to sleep. I have gotten questions about how do you know what a stone does? Well, there's a couple things. You can look online. There's some really good sites that have complete outlines of the different things, and stones do lots of things. I was putting together this stone for a particular reason, this set of stones. The other thing is, how do you know what a stone should feel like? How do you know if it's a good stone for you? If you go to a crystal store, how do you know? I mean, there's like all those pretty shiny things. Which one should you go to? I always pick them up and hold them in my left hand, which is I'm right-handed, so that's the hand I receive with. And I just feel the energy. And this is very soothing, very calming, very cooling stone. And since I live in the Southwest, cool is always a very soothing sort of feeling. If you hold it in your hand, you'll get a feeling for it. If you pick one up and it's kind of, yeah, you then put it back. Keep going around the room till you find the one you really, really like. When I'm going to do a crystal build either today or tomorrow, and I'm going to tape it. It's for a person who wants a crystal grid, but she wants me to put it in a way that I can send it to her with a piece of fabric that has the grid on it, and I tell her where to put the crystals, and she's going to put it on her own home altar, her own place where she concentrates, does her meditations and things. So I'm going to build that crystal, and I'll show you how I do it. How I pick stones, I always have more stones than I need when I'm putting a crystal grid together, because when I'm sensing them and I see how they look, I'll know what fits, what goes together. It's just kind of a sense you have. And in that, I'll talk about how you use some of the numbers, because when you get a crystal grid for me, I give you an outline of every stone that's in there, how many of those stones are on the grid, and what is the significance of those numbers. And there are reasons that in sacred geometry, 5 is change, and the change card, which is this one, it has 5 little stars on it. And those are the changes that are going through the center energy of that person. So there's lots of different little things like that, that if you work with it for a while, you get to know. That's why somebody says, well, just tell me how I build a grid. Well, I just built one and then said, oh, it worked. Let's see why. And it ends up, I've done everything right just because I went with my intuition. You can do that too. Anyway, this is getting longer than I need it to be. I need to go take some more cough syrup and get myself back together and ready and good. I look forward to seeing you in the garden. I really appreciate everyone who's been responsive to the garden. And this is a place to come to grow, to make yourself better, to be happy, to transform, to heal, to believe in brotherhood, to have clarity and transition. We need a place where we can share our abundance and changes and enlightenment, and to express balance. Balance going to be one of the harder things to get in the next couple months, but then it'll get better. Astrologers will tell you all about that. That's what they do. And remember, if someone really talks about an aspect and says, oh, this is horrible and negative and Pluto does blah, 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 blah. Pluto doesn't do jack. We choose to accept that energy, and then we can transmute it and make it something positive, or we can take it and hug on to the negative and hang on to the fear. And yesterday was interesting because my kids were freaked that I had to go get a COVID test, but I really wasn't that fearful. I was just concerned because it would change their lives and my life, potentially so much. But I was blessed, and it didn't happen that way. And now all I have to do is get rid of my crappy lungs. Anyway, I gotta go, guys. Bye.